Do you have a hot new business or an established business that offers great and unique services or products that you want to get the word out? Are you looking to grow your business and you want everyone to hear the buzz about it? Do you have an amazing project or an idea that impacts our community that you want to share or get others involved in? Then you've come to the right place. You're listening to Community Connections with Norma G. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero, and I want to share your passion while connecting with our community. So now, let's get ready to hear about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening on Community Connections with Norma G. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to Community Connections with Norma G. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero, and I wanted to tell you that coming up in the following week, we're going to be moving to next Wednesday at 7:30. Not this week, but the following Wednesday, because we're going to be having a new show in this time slot, and it's going to be, the name of the show is He Said, She Said. So once again, next week, Community Connections is going to be on Wednesday. I believe that's the 21st at 7:30 p.m. So tune in. You're listening to 95.3 FM, and you can also watch us live stream on Facebook at Community Connections with Norma G. You can also find us at WNN 1470 and on your iHeart app at WNN 1470. So this evening, we're going to be talking about all things social media. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because it has taken over our lives. And when you think about the history of social media, it starts from just letters to newspapers to fast forward, because I'm not going to start in the 1800s, but fast forward all the way to 1980s. And that's when people started to have home computers. And then you move towards into the 1990s, and that's when you started to have the first recognizable social sites. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because social media has kind of taken over our lives. Could be a good thing or could not be a good thing, but nonetheless, it's here with us and it's not going anywhere. And today in the studio, I have two guests that are kind of like social media specialists, so I want to invite them now to say hello. We have Miss Hannah Otz. I prepared myself.
That's my favorite part.
Ostapchuk.
There you go.
Ostapchuk. And we have Miss Erica Obando.
Correct.
And so they are both, hello. Thank you so much for coming. They're both involved in social media, and we're going to get involved in talking about what they do. But just to give you a little bit of background, because I found this is fascinating, that in 1999 is when there was the first blogging site. And in the 2000s, that's when MySpace and LinkedIn and Flickr kind of started to move around. And in 2005, if you think about just 11 years ago, that's when YouTube came around. And in 2006, that's when Facebook and Twitter came around. And when I think back to when I was in college and when I finished college, that's when I got my first computer in 1995. So here we are 21 years later, and you have babies being born with computers in their hands.
Isn't that crazy?
And
they're already programmed. They know what to do.
You have a child, correct?
Yeah, my baby is going to be 19.
19. You're 19.
FSU, right?
Well, no, I thought your child was younger.
Yeah, he's at FSU.
But I imagine that he had a child very young, because I didn't really get on a computer till I was in my mid-20s.
Correct.
So that's something. So tell me, Erica, what business do you have? And how are you involved in this social media platform?
So I came across this opportunity by pure happenstance. It fell on my lap, literally. I'm very techie. I'm really good with computers, softwares, and social media and creating websites. And I started out by helping other people for free. And then I had this one wonderful lady that I was helping, that she's an attorney, and she said, my time is worth money, so I need you to go back and create a business, and then I will be your first client. And then she brought a bunch of other people, and then now it's just out there. So what I do is I help small business owners and entrepreneurs get their footing in social media, because a lot of people, what they did was that they looked down, they started to create a business, they looked up, and they're like, what do you mean there's Facebook? What is this? And it becomes a very overwhelming task to take on if you don't know what you're doing or how to even go about it.
What is the name of your company
So my company right now is Design Your Life of Purpose. I'm also a public speaker, and I do a lot of public speaking, motivational students and things like that. But in January, I'm going to be launching my actual consulting business, which is Sidepreneur 360. Which is, everybody is an entrepreneur.
I love this name, by the way.
Yeah,
I absolutely love this name.
Because everybody's an entrepreneur, and you don't have to jump all in.
Right.
You could do it on the side. So you're a sidepreneur for now, and I take you the 360.
That's incredible.
To get to where you need to
That's
go.
a great. And so when you do your public speaking, what's your message? And that's actually kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit regarding this subject, is that we have social media. And so when you think of social media for promoting things, or for also communicating things, and so you can certainly promote your business here, sell, buy this phone, this is the social media. But from a public speaker, you're going to be putting out a message. And so what message is it that you're trying to convey that's kind of been placed on your heart?
Well, my public speaking platform is more for empowerment. And I help send the message of you can do it. I come from a story myself I could have been a statistic. I've said this time and time again. I had a very rough upbringing, and I made the choices to get to where I am today. I did not become or allow people to give me the title of being a victim. I turned it around and became, I owned up to my life. So when I do my public speaking is for that, to help, I do a lot of it for schools and kids who are falling victim to the excuse of, I come from this life and I can't, I can't ascend to the life I'm supposed to because I'm having a hard time now. No, you can. You just, break through and own up to your situation and learn from it and keep going.
So just really encouraging them to continue
absolutely.
to pursue their dreams and their goals.
Yeah, and I have a very soft spot for women entrepreneurs. I was a single mom, and it's a very hard struggle. But then there's also, single women or any woman that just wants to know how to get started. How do I follow my life of purpose, which is where my
Design your life of purpose.
Yeah, design your life of purpose. So design your life of purpose is just that. Just talking about the ways that you can go about your life to live what you're supposed to be here. Everybody, we all come to deliver a message. We have our unique ways of being, and to share it with someone else is very important. So
it's very interesting because I know that you brought Hannah here this evening as a guest of my guest, and so and I know that you're a sports reporter, and you work with whom?
I work with Fox Sports and with CBS Sports.
And so you spend a lot of time following football and baseball, and that's just all Florida sports you mentioned.
Correct, yes, Fox Sports Florida. Social media is really my life in that sense.
Right.
When it comes to
And
following what happens, I mean, I'm not even good on it. Like Twitter, if I don't check it in a full day, I have pretty much missed absolutely everything I need to talk about. And that happens sometimes.
I mean, it's time consuming a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's time consuming. But I mean, I guess you kind of have to just find the balance of how to make your, if you do it as a profession versus just kind of for leisure, you just find the balance of how to make it work to stay connected. But we were talking about her, her message that she wants to convey. You mentioned that you want to be starting a blog.
I do.
And so what is your blog going to be about?
My blog is called The Humble Hustle. And I found as being a sports reporter, there was really no...
The Humble Hustle.
The Humble Hustle.
I thought it was the Hannah Hustle.
The Humble Hustle.
Okay, the Humble Hustle. Okay.
Yes, the Humble Hustle. So I found that,
That's
growing up,
sweet.
and I always knew what I wanted to do, right? I always knew I wanted to be in journalism.
Okay.
But there's really no path for that. A lot of my friends are lawyers and doctors, and they know they have to do this school for 2 years, and they have to go do that, and, go through rotations. And there's really no direction for my career path. And when you ask any other girl who's on camera, they'll say, oh, it's a long story. Most people have these crazy stories of how they got their job. So I thought, why not create a place where people could go, I have so many people who contact me on Facebook or email me or, find my website and ask me if they could talk to me about how I got into the business just to learn more about how to get into the business. So I wanted to create a place where people could go and they could find, any industry and figure out how to get into it and a good way to get into it. I have a lot of friends who are in their 20s and they're like kicking butt in their jobs.
How did you get into sports reporting?
So I applied. I actually found on social media, I found a job at Fox Sports Florida. They were auditioning for this marketing brand ambassador position that actually no longer exists. But it was a very long audition process, and I got it. And it was so bizarre. It was community involvement. Everyone had to vote for you, and I ended up winning. And then 2 weeks into winning the job, they were like, we actually are going to take you out of this. We want you to be a reporter instead, which was great because that's what I wanted to do, and they could see that in me. The brand ambassador job was I think the very first commercial spot I did, I had like 2 lines, and I was like,
So
the ball is
when
back.
you were in
I'm so bummed.
journalism,
I was like, no,
2 lines and you're
more.
static.
Yeah.
Yes. I've done a little bit of commercial
Yeah.
stuff, and
I was like,
had
I wanna
my
say more.
3 seconds, and it's
Right.
very, very fun and exciting.
Yeah.
So when you were in journalism school, did you know you wanted to do sports reporting, or did you think you wanted to do some other type of thing? Or?
I didn't. I actually had to transfer schools. I went to Syracuse, but then I went to University of North Florida for my final year. And when I was at Syracuse, I wanted to be a writer, and it wasn't until I got to UNF. I was trying to make new friends, and this girl next to me asked me to UNF, University of North Florida. It's in
North
Jacksonville.
Florida, okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
She asked me if I wanted to go with her and support while she auditioned to be an anchor, and I was like, yeah, I'll go. And while I was there, I ended up auditioning, and I got the job as a sports reporter. And I was like, hey, I kind of like this thing. Why didn't I try this out before? So that's how I started that one.
And how long have you been doing that now? For?
I've been in the business. Like, I got hired from Fox about 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
So
That must have been super exciting.
it was fun. I mean, it's been a ride. It's like, when
seen
you're
you progress.
when you're on air, you never really stick to the same thing for that long.
Now, I had the opportunity to look at both you guys' website. So, did you find it difficult to? You're helping people build their website. So that's your thing with the new business that you're going to be creating called the Sidepreneur 360,
Correct.
which I love the name, by the way. I've been explaining it to people for the last few days. I'm like, they're like, oh, who are you going to be interviewing? I'm like, I love this name. All right, not everybody has the time to be an entrepreneur, but people have their side gigs, and
Right.
so it's Sidepreneur. I just love the name. Because people want to eventually maybe make that transition
Right.
to full entrepreneur. So, did you have to hire assistants in order to build your website, or is that something you're good at? Or
No, I just did it myself. I just kind of taught myself how to do it. I grew up going to art school, so
Okay.
I knew graphics. I know graphics well.
Okay, well, so you have
I
a background
lucked
because
out. Yeah,
I'm just curious, because not everybody may have their ability to navigate the
Right.
computer or be able to
It
navigate.
is tricky.
It is,
I
but-
dedicated like a full 2 weeks to like every day after work. I would go home and I would work on my website. And even now that it's done, it's like I still don't think it's.
Yeah, I
you know
know.
what I mean?
Right,
I'm
well,
always
like
like,
anything.
Well, that's what happened to me. I created this website for Design Your Life of Purpose, and then now that I'm going in 2 different directions, I have to revamp one and then
Right.
create another. And like you said, it's just
a
finding your
cycle.
way through it. And even me, this is what I do for a living, but it becomes difficult because you want it to look the part, and it's kind of like it's never perfect,
Right.
right? So you're
You
just
have
like
the
I
vision.
gotta tweak this and I gotta tweak that, but at some point you have to walk away from it and say, okay, it's the information that I need portrayed out there, and then now I just have to go and focus on something else.
So you work as a news reporter. At what point did you decide that I need my own personal website? Or for what benefit did you see that for? Is that just to kind of because it's the trend, it's the thing.
I've always wanted to do more. I think Eric and I were talking about this before. I never really say no when it comes to work things, and I think when you work as a sports reporter, you're known as a freelancer.
Okay.
You kind of are your own brand.
Okay.
So all of my friends work at Fox Sports, or most of my friends work at Fox Sports, but I work at Fox Sports and CBS Sports. So, and there are other things I do. I've worked alongside a couple other companies for commercials and stuff like that. So I feel like it's important to brand myself
needed a
separately.
hub.
Right.
Kind of like a hub that if people see
Right.
your name, they could find out about you. And because
Right.
when you're a freelancer, I guess you could, go and freelance,
Right.
for people
We can
wanting to
balance a
hire
couple
you.
things,
Yeah.
correct.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I'm going to take a little commercial right now, and we're going to come back, and I want to talk about what are some of the mistakes that you think that you guys said that, you guys obviously have some background with computers and designer and stuff. But a lot of people don't. They become specialists in whatever it is, their product or whatever the other thing is. So what kind of mistakes are people making when they try and do it themselves, and how can your services benefit them? So I'd like to talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We'll be right back. And also, if you'd like to call in with any questions, it's 888-565-1470.
Times are tough, and right now those in the commercial world know that being heard via advertisements is the name of the game. AmpSquare.tv understands how important advertisement is and is proud to express that it's truly the only plugged-in internet television production company on the market. AMP2.tv live streams all their shows across all the major selling markets in the U.S. and abroad. Call them at 866-224-5422. The AmpSquare.tv library allows productions to be seen over and over again, making commercial platforms more usable. Call 866-224-5422. Toll free 866-224-5422. AMP2.tv, the first and only internet television network that's truly plugged in. 866-224-5422. That's AMP2.tv.
Thank you for listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We're the place where we talk about your business, a product, an idea, or a project, and get the word out to our community. I'm your host, Norma Guerrero. Today we are sharing your passion while connecting with our community. Give us a call at 888-565-1470 and join our conversation. Don't forget to tune in every Monday night at 6:30 to join me, Norma G, and the guests to find out what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Now, let's rejoin Community Connections with Norma G. Yes, that's what. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to Community Connections with Norma G. And I wanted to just take a moment for Erica and Hannah to just give the name of your website, where people can find you, before we get into talking about it a little more. Erica, how can we find you?
So, pretty much on every social media, of course. But you can find me on designyourlifeofpurpose.com, Erica with a K, Obando.com. And then as of
with a K.
With a K.
Because I misspelled it several times with a C, K, and then...
And then as of January, I'm going to be launching the Sidepreneur 360. And, obviously the number's 360.com.
And you have what your website is, again?
All those three. Designyourlifeofpurpose.com, ericaobando.com, or Sidepreneur360.com.
Great. And Hannah, how about you? How can we find this new fabulous website that you have up there?
I'm just HannahOstopchak.com, and best of luck spelling
say that a little
it.
bit better. I was going to say that very slowly. So I want to do it now because it might take too much time at the end.
Okay, it's Hannah Ostopchak. It's like you're arguing with a guy named Chuck Ostopchak, but it's spelled totally opposite. So
spell it.
So go to can really spell it. I don't want to spell it. You can go to the Facebook page, and there you'll see my name, and you can click from there.
There you go.
It's too long.
Awesome. Thank you for giving that information. So, like I mentioned before, the benefits of having a social media account or using social media to improve your business, I think is very important, because I have a list here of all the different benefits of it. You can gain valuable customer insight. You can increase brand awareness and loyalty. You can generate higher converting leads. And so these are, I can keep going on of the benefits of social media. So if somebody's sitting at home and they start to embark on wanting to, develop their own website or trying to navigate at this, when people start to do that, what roadblocks and what challenges do you think people, or did you run into any yourself or some of your clients? Why do you think what are they running to at home? Or if there's somebody out there listening going, oh my gosh, that's totally what I'm experiencing, I need help.
Yeah. What I've noticed in my experience, mentoring and tutoring these people is that, you're wasting precious time, right? Because if you, and by all means, I encourage you to go out there and try to figure it out. But if you are in the business of trying to make money and trying to put your product, your service, or your message out there, reach out for some assistance, because I've done my research. I've done my mistakes. I've done all that stuff. So it's just so much easier for me to analyze where you are, and then me guide you through the process. And I want to make something clear, because a lot of people have asked me, I don't maintain accounts. I'm all about empowering. So I don't even do the website for you. I walk you through the steps, because I'm a big believer that you learn better hands-on.
Sure.
Because you'll remember that. And then I've actually sat down and waited for them to write the notes that they need to write so that they can remember. But the whole point is for you to know what you're doing, and then have somebody guide you through. I made my mistakes. There's a lot of website hosting companies that are out there, and some are easier than others. And instead of making the mistake of trying to figure out one or the other, paying the membership that you would have to pay, just reach out to somebody like my company or anybody that would be able to assist you, so that you don't make those mistakes that'll cost you in the end. You just rather be proactive.
I have some numbers here that there's over 3 billion internet users, and
Yes.
there's over 2 billion that have active social media accounts. And there's 95 million photos and videos uploaded to Instagram and 5 million tweets and 4.5 billion likes on Facebook. So if you're wondering, will social media help my business? It's almost like a no-brainer at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like there's kind of maybe two people out there. Someone that has zero, website or social media, or they have one, but it's maybe a little bit outdated, or it's not
Correct.
as user-friendly. And so there's two types of people that may be kind of saying to themselves, boy, I could really use a little upgrading, and
Right.
and that's what you do.
Absolutely.
And there's this term blogging is kind of interesting to me. And so what I've heard people say is that blogging actually improves your social media, what's the word I want to use?
Exposure?
Exposure. So explain to me what the blogging is, and explain to our listeners what exactly is blogging and how can it help?
Actually, this is when I virtually hand the mic over to Ms. Hannah over here,
Okay,
because she's
all
in the
right.
process of launching her own blog. So
I mean, I would describe blogging. It's an entire job. It's a lot of people. A lot of people have their blogs are their business, and that becomes their full-time job. And they're the boss of themselves and how things work. So, I mean, I think the best way to explain it is if you're, a fashion blogger or a beauty blogger. Those are really the easier ones when it comes to working with products and to, earning money from all of it.
Okay.
It's when, you work with certain companies saying, oh, I'll post this photo because I have so and so many followers. I'll post this photo of me wearing your product, and then you pay me for wearing your product. So it really becomes like a business in itself. And I mean, the amount of
So
success
would you
people
say
have
that
from that is
people who
unbelievable.
have a business hire people to be their bloggers?
Yeah.
If you will?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
people do?
Like Revlon has, a handful of bloggers that they use all over the place that, connect to the bloggers' followers, because that's how I follow a certain amount of bloggers on social media.
Sure.
And there are some products that they'll recommend, and I'm like, oh, I got to get that. She recommended that, I have to get it. So, there are certain things where fans feel like they're connected, or people feel like
Correct.
they're connected. And that's where the bloggers are the
Sure.
connection.
and then the businesses see the value in that. So then it's a no-brainer to pay Hannah to be out there promoting the products, because they don't have to do the work. They just pay her. She's
Right.
already got an audience that is following her, that is loyal to her. So why not? And then that's how people are doing business nowadays. I say this all the time. We don't market in the yellow pages anymore. Nobody does that. That yellow book is on my front lawn, and then I
Right.
forget to pick it. I've never even looked at it in years. And what I say to people is, use yourself as a guinea pig. How do you find a business? Where do you go to look for a business? I constantly am reaching out through my social media contacts for finding a business. Right, because that's where we are, and I find most of my news on social media. So I'll add to one of your statistics, which
Sure, sure.
it blows my mind. 80% of those 3 million users,
3 billion.
3 billion users, wake up, and the first thing they do
Yeah.
is check social media.
Right?
I am guilty sometimes.
Sure. That's why there's a whole
Guilty.
philosophy
You go-
of moving the phone
Yeah,
to the
you go
kitchen,
to-
charging.
Right, you go to sleep and you wake up with social media.
Erica, tell me about what you got planned for 2017 regarding some of the your projects in the process of launching your business.
So I'm very excited because January 13th through the 15th, I'm going to be a speaker at Create Your Best Life, which is run by Wendy Blum.
Yes,
Boca.
flourish.
The Flourishing Mastermind.
Yes.
The little Boca guru.
Yes.
So I am
She's
a speaker.
awesome, by the way.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
She's actually one of my first mentors, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of her classes on Tuesday nights in Boca, and she's very
yeah.
inspirational.
So I'm going to be one of the speakers talking about the power of social media
When
and
is
how to
it?
use it. January 13th through the 15th. I'm going to be on that Friday.
Okay.
And then the following
If you
week,
want to look up that event, how do we find it? Do you know?
Create Your Best Life. I'm going to be posting information on my site as far
Okay.
as upcoming events. And you can find it on social media, Create Your Best Life
Sure.
2017. Following that, I'm launching now my workshops. So if you are better in a classroom setting or a group setting to learn more about, maybe you don't have a business, but you just kind of want to get your feet wet and want to know more about
Yeah.
it, I'm launching my workshops starting January 23rd at the Flamingo House, which is one of our favorite spots to
Yes,
go to
yes,
co-work.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So we're going to be doing the launching and on the 23rd there, and then I'm doing one in West Palm Beach on the 27th. And come February, we're adding Fort Lauderdale and Hollywood to the mix.
Well, so you have a busy couple months coming up with all these workshops.
Yes.
And your message is going to be what you were talking about as far as your public speaking, the empowerment and women and entrepreneurs.
That's actually on a separate thing. I do a lot of public speaking for women empowerment groups and for students.
So what would be
but the
speaking?
workshops are for social media
Okay.
knowledge. Correct.
Okay, got
so
it, got
if
it.
you're an aspiring entrepreneur, if you are already a business owner and you want to just learn more about it, I go literally from 0 to 100. So I start you from the basics to let you understand the statistics, the information, and
Well,
take
you sound
there.
like you have like multiple fires burning.
I do. I have a lot of baskets.
Going on, and you just kind of go from place to place, and so continued success for 2017
Thank
with all
you.
that. And so, when can people find your blog?
People can find my blog hopefully in the beginning of 2017. I already have a handful of interviews I've done with some of my friends who I think have really cool jobs and have so much to tell. So it's just a matter of me going to the Flamingo House.
There you go.
So you're
recording
interviewing
it all.
these people, and then you're going to
Yes.
write about it.
Yes.
Their story.
Yes, and I'm also going to have videos, and I work with a lot of people who are in the entertainment business and athletes, and so there'll be a lot of fun stories to tell.
That's awesome. Well, ladies,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming in, Miss Erica
you.
Obando and Hannah Ostapchuk.
Yep, there you go.
And check them out. Check them out on their website. We're talking about social media, and everybody knows the pros and cons to social media. And I like to be optimistic, and I like to think about the pros. And these incredible ladies here, they're using it for their business. They're using it to speak messages of power and success, and how to inspire people to be, better at better points in their lives. So thank you so much again for coming in tonight.
Thank you for having
Don't
us.
forget, next Wednesday we're moving to 7:30. Not this Wednesday, the following Wednesday, and next week this time you're going to have He Said, She Said at 6:30 next Monday. Have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you next week. You've been listening to Community Connections with Norma G. We'll be back next Monday at 6:30 with a new guest to share about what's hot, what's new, and what's happening in our community. Did you hear something you liked today on our show? Please contact me, Norma G, at 954-802-2015. I look forward to helping you expand your business, project, or idea and connect with our community. That's 954-802-2015.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.